Good morning, and welcome to a special episode where we dive into the unique intersection of American history, culture, and finance. Today is October 13th, 2025, a day that carries dual significance across the United States. It's recognized as both Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day, reflecting the country's evolving perspective on its past and the people who shaped it. With many banks shuttered and no mail delivery, you might be wondering, does the financial world pause as well? Is Wall Street taking a break, or is it business as usual? This is a common question, especially for investors and anyone managing their finances. Market holidays can affect everything from trading schedules to when your money moves between accounts, so it's important to know what to expect. While government offices and most banks close their doors in observance of the holiday, the stock market doesn't always follow the same rules. The financial sector has its own calendar, and sometimes it surprises people. Columbus Day is a unique holiday. For some, it's a celebration of Italian-American heritage and the spirit of exploration. For others, it's a time to honor indigenous communities and reflect on their history, resilience, and contributions to our society. This mix of celebrations and remembrances can make it confusing to know what's open and what's closed, especially in the world of finance. That's why we're here, to break down exactly what you need to know about today's financial landscape. We'll also take a look back at the history behind both holidays, exploring how they came to be recognized and what they mean for investors and everyday Americans alike. Plus, we'll help you plan ahead by highlighting the next major market closure, so you can stay prepared and avoid any surprises with your investments or financial transactions. Our goal is simple: to give you clear, straightforward information so you can navigate your finances with confidence, no matter what the calendar says. So, let's get to the heart of the matter and answer the big question on everyone's mind. Is the stock market open today? And what does that mean for you? Here's the answer. The U.S. stock markets, NYSE and NASDAQ, are open today. These bustling hubs of financial activity are operating on their regular schedule, welcoming traders and investors to engage in the buying and selling of stocks. Trading runs on a normal schedule, just like any other Monday. The trading floors are alive with the usual hustle and bustle, as traders make their moves and investors keep a close eye on market trends. For stock investors, it's business as usual. Whether you're trading from the comfort of your home or from a high-tech office, the stock market is open and ready for action. But if you're in the bond market, it's a different story. The bond market operates on a different schedule, often aligning with federal holidays. The U.S. bond market is closed today, following the federal holiday schedule. This means no trading of U.S. Treasuries or other bonds. This closure is set by SIFMA, which governs the bond market's calendar. SIFMA, or the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association, ensures that the bond market adheres to a specific schedule. So, you can trade stocks, but not U.S. Treasuries or other bonds. This distinction is crucial for investors to understand, as it affects their trading strategies and decisions. This split, stocks open, bonds closed, also happens on Veterans Day. On such federal holidays, while the stock market remains active, the bond market takes a break. The reason? Stock exchanges set their own holidays, while the bond market aligns with federal banking holidays. This difference in schedules can sometimes be confusing, but it's important to keep track of. For most people, you can trade stocks, but banks and the bond market are closed. This means that while you can continue your stock trading activities, any transactions involving bonds will have to wait until the bond market reopens. Remember, different parts of finance run on different clocks. Each market has its own schedule and set of rules, which can impact your trading plans. Always check which market you're dealing with. Being aware of the specific schedules and holidays for each market can help you plan your trading activities more effectively. That's the key for today. Understanding the different schedules of the stock and bond markets is essential for any investor. Columbus Day marks the 1492 arrival of Christopher Columbus in the Americas, a moment that would forever change the course of history. Columbus's journey, sponsored by Spain, was driven by a desire to find a new route to Asia, but instead, he encountered a land unknown to Europeans. This event is often seen as the beginning of centuries of exploration, migration, and cultural exchange between Europe and the Americas. For many Americans, especially those of Italian descent, Columbus Day is a celebration of exploration, resilience, and the rich contributions of Italian Americans to the fabric of the United States. Parades, music, and vibrant displays of Italian and American flags fill city streets, creating a sense of unity and pride within the community. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Italian immigrants faced discrimination and hardship as they sought new lives in America. Embracing Columbus as a symbol of pride and achievement, they found a way to assert their place in American society. Columbus became a figure who represented hope, perseverance, and the dream of acceptance in a new homeland. The first official Columbus Day holiday was established in Colorado in 1907, recognizing both the historical significance of Columbus's voyage and the growing influence of Italian-American communities. Over the following decades, the holiday spread to other states, becoming a symbol of cultural pride and national identity. Parades and festivities became cherished traditions, especially in cities with large Italian-American populations. These celebrations featured marching bands, elaborate floats, and community gatherings, all designed to honor both Columbus's daring voyage and the enduring spirit of Italian immigrants. In 1937, President Franklin D. Roosevelt elevated Columbus Day to a national holiday, recognizing its importance to millions of Americans. The date was later moved to the second Monday in October, allowing for a long weekend of reflection and celebration. For generations, Columbus Day was a time for families to gather, share stories, and honor both a brave explorer and their own Italian roots. It became a day to celebrate heritage, community, and the pursuit of new opportunities. But as time passed, a more critical examination of Columbus's legacy began to emerge. Many people started to question the impact of his arrival on the indigenous peoples of the Americas, highlighting the darker chapters of history that followed. This growing awareness led to a shift in how the day is observed. Across the country, communities began to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day on the same date, honoring the history, cultures, and resilience of Native American peoples. Today, the conversation continues. Let's explore how Indigenous Peoples Day came to be and how it's reshaping our understanding of history and heritage in America. Many now view Columbus's arrival as the start of centuries of hardship for Indigenous peoples. In response, Indigenous Peoples Day was created to honor Native history and culture. The movement began in the 1990s, with Berkeley, California, among the first to adopt it. Since then, cities and states nationwide have followed, using the day for education and celebration of Indigenous communities. It's a day to recognize resilience, reflect on history, and affirm Indigenous sovereignty. The goal, a more accurate, inclusive understanding of American history. This observance continues to grow each year. In 2021, President Biden issued the first presidential proclamation for Indigenous Peoples Day. He acknowledged the painful history faced by tribal nations and called for honoring Native peoples. Importantly, Columbus Day remains a federal holiday, and Biden also recognized its significance for Italian Americans. This dual recognition reflects the nation's ongoing conversation about history and identity. While not an official federal holiday, Biden's proclamation elevated Indigenous Peoples Day nationally. It encouraged states and cities to recognize and celebrate Indigenous voices. The conversation about how we commemorate this day continues. Indigenous Peoples Day isn't a federal holiday, but its recognition is spreading. States like South Dakota, Minnesota, Alaska, Vermont, Oregon, and Maine have replaced Columbus Day with it. Others, like Oklahoma and Michigan, recognize both holidays. Over 130 cities, including Seattle, Denver, and Los Angeles, now celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. Local activists and leaders have driven much of this change. Recognition often includes city events and educational programs. Whether you see Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day depends on where you live. The debate continues, reflecting evolving values and history. With the market open today, when's the next closure? After Labor Day, the next full stock market holiday is Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 27, 2025. Both NYSE and NASDAQ will be closed. The day after Black Friday, markets close early at 1 p.m. Eastern. Trading is lighter, but the market is open for those who need it. The final closure of the year is Christmas Day, December 25th. Mark these dates to plan your trades and avoid surprises. Knowing the calendar helps you stay prepared. Why are stock markets open when banks are closed? The NYSE and NASDAQ are private companies, not government agencies. They set their own holiday schedules, usually observing only 9 holidays a year. Columbus Day and Veterans Day are not among them. More trading days mean more economic activity, so markets stay open unless a holiday is widely observed. The bond market, however, follows the federal banking calendar. Since many bonds are government-issued and rely on banks for settlement, the bond market closes on federal holidays. That's why stocks trade today, but bonds don't. It's all about operational structure and tradition. Always check which market schedule you're following. To recap, on Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day, U.S. stock markets are open, but the bond market is closed. You can trade stocks as usual, but bond transactions must wait. This split also happens on Veterans Day. The day holds dual significance, celebrating Italian-American heritage and honoring Indigenous peoples. President Biden's 2021 proclamation brought national attention, but recognition varies by state and city. The next market closure is Thanksgiving, followed by an early close on Black Friday. Mark your calendar to avoid surprises. Understanding these schedules helps you plan and invest wisely. Stay informed, and you'll navigate the markets with confidence. Have a great day.